Okay, hi everyone. I will be streaming um, the world's match with my own commentary. The stream is from FSG's official Twitch. I've left the link in the description. Do check it out. If you want to join the Twitch chat over there. Otherwise, I'll just be doing voiceover commentary. So hopefully you'll appreciate that. It's gonna start in about 2 or 3 minutes, so stay tuned for that. For now, I'll talk about a bit more about the spoilers from the Wombat cycle. Uh, let's put that there. Okay. Yeah, this is a continuation from the previous video which I uploaded. I've missed out a few things. I mentioned Bikram 1.0 was one of the best pieces of ice. It was pretty amazing. I neglected to mention that it's actually a pretty hard counter against noise. If you think about it, noise is going to have an absolute horror of a time dealing with this ice. They usually pack David, but they'll need to expend 2 if not 3 counters of David to get past this ice. Usually 3, because if they're doing a medium deck, they cannot use medium to access multiple cards if I remember correctly. So this is very taxing. It's not something that Noise wants to run through at all. Basically the best option against this ice is Parasucker. If they can accumulate enough sucker tokens and insta parasite this 5 strength ice, it's good. Otherwise, 5 strength, that's a lot. 5 sucker tokens is quite a bit to ask for, especially against HP, which tends to ice up their servers very well. The traces are very painful because Noise has 0 link. So yes, there are a lot of problems. This ice is very problematic for Noise, and even though Noise got some boost in the form of D1, the one cost virus, this is a big problem for Noise to deal with. Of course, it is given to the faction with what is arguably already has the best defenses against Noise. There's Architect and Turing, 2 very strong pieces of gear check ice. Another thing I want to mention is that Faust doesn't deal with this well at all. Firstly, because he has 3 subroutines, and most importantly, because Noise cannot let the brain damage subroutines fire. Because brain damage means they have less cards to use for Faust. They have less hand size to hold all the viruses they want. So that is very problematic for Noise. I think Vikram's a very good counter against Noise, although it's given to a faction with a lot of counters already. So I'm not exactly sure how that will pan out. It's 2 influence. It is a pretty good splash in Nerf Hub if you want to make a taxing NBN deck. Wayland, I guess Wayland could use it. Jinteki, yes, it would be pretty nice in Jinteki, although most runners will just click through the brain damage against Jinteki. It's a pretty strong piece of ice. You can definitely see it being used outside of HB even. 6 res is a bit expensive. Okay. I hope the stream quality is alright. If there's any problems, please, I hope someone will inform me. In the meantime, yes, the stream is starting, so we're gonna get started pretty soon. Alright, so we have Timmy Wong. Woo! Go Timmy. Up against Stefan, if I read his name correctly. And it's Nerf Hub against Noise. We are already into the match. Alright, this is a very interesting breed of Nerf Hub. There's a product placement in archives, so I have absolutely no idea what this guy is up to. Goodness me. I have to expect a lot of new D&D cards here. Timmy is capable of almost anything and everything. I have no idea what this guy is up to. On the other side, it seems like a very standard Noise deck. Very shiny plastic ID. Not much else I can say about that. So he begins running the face down remotes. He sees a paired campaign. Probably should trash with him. You want to deny economy. You don't want them to start raising Sense and Astro Training out. and you don't want to get mid-season for all your credits because Noise is so dependent on the ESOPs and Wildside. Alright. Noise makes a run on R&D and ooh, lucky pull. That's amazing. And I think he installs an ESOPs here. Yes, that's definitely the right play. He can get 3 credits right off it the next turn. Well, that definitely isn't a good start for NBN. Let's see how Timmy can bounce back from this. Alright, this looks like Butcher Shop now. Between the TGTBT and what seems like a black card. He draws a second Astro. Goodness me. What is the second card in his hand? I can't really tell. Is it a power shutdown? Is that a power shutdown? Nope, it's Scorched Earth. Right, okay, so this is Scorched Ambient. That's fair enough. Very ballsy play here to install the second Astro Script Naked along with 2 other remotes. You have to figure that the opponent might be willing to face check them. But no, he goes for R&D instead. Again, Timmy lets Noise through. It's something that you expect. And pop-up window. So last turn, the Corp let the runner through R&D. So this is why he ran R&D again. So that because he knows that there's a low chance that the Corp would rest the ice again if they didn't do anything last turn and didn't do anything on their turn either. Anyway, Noise has seen the Scorched Earth, so the jig is up. That's very important for Noise because now he knows what he's up against. And I think the Astro will get scored right now. That would really put the pressure on Noise. Timmy doing some checking. And yes, decides to score the Astro. So, very, very interesting play there. Very risky because potentially Noise to get up to 5 points, but it paid off. So now they're tied 2-2. But NBN's in the lead with 1 Astro token. So, can Noise find his wild side? That's the big question. He does find a Clot, he does find a Plascrete. Those are very, very key cards in this matchup. I think you have to expect him to install them very soon. Not the Plascrete though. If I were him, I would save the Plascrete for when I need it the most. For example, right after stealing an agenda, being vulnerable to mid-seasons, or after making a run and being way poorer than the Corp, which is the case right now. Timmy's on 9 credits, Noise is on 3 credits. So this is why Stefan is playing more conservatively here. He's not making any runs. Interesting. He pitches a Parasite. That Parasite definitely could have gone on the pop-up window there. Cost 2 credits, but it would get rid of an annoying piece of ice, and more importantly, mill 1 card. Okay. Interesting. Psychic Field. Pretty nice use of influence once you're maxed out on Scorched Earths and Traffic Accidents. Clears your opponent's hand very quickly. And yeah, this seems like a hybrid of Neopet and Butcher Shop. Really have no idea what to expect from this. Alright, it's good that he starts getting more econ and more ice on HQ. Very interesting, he's still not doing anything about the R&D ice. I'm not sure if he's ever gonna res it. And a very surprising move here to sell the Clock to ESOPs. It's not even being purged, he sells the Clock to ESOPs. I'm not sure about that decision. I guess he really does need the money, but what for? I think at this point he really wants to find a wild side. Noise is definitely struggling big time right now. Without a wild side, things are just going too slowly for him. His hand is clogged up with a lot of useless programs. I see a David, Mimic, cards that he doesn't want to throw away, yet he might need later down the road. Very tough choice for Noise. The draw is not doing very well for him here. Okay, I'm not a big fan of the pre-installed Plascrete here. I don't see a need to install Plascrete at this point in time. because there's no way Timmy can kill Noise at this juncture as long as Noise stays on at least 4 cards at the end of his turn. So yes, very questionable move there. You don't want to pre-install Plascrete because it clues your opponent in, makes them make more informed choices rather than um, rather than assuming they have the win in hand. Also, Shattered Remains is a thing. Never know. Alright, so I believe there's a breaking news on the board which could change things. Not so much with the Plascrete around. We'll see what happens. He finds the pancakes, but still no wild side. This is very problematic for Stefan right here. Draws a Faust. Doesn't help matters at all. You don't really want to use Faust when you know your opponent's playing flatline. Yes, the draws are just horrible, and this is where Noise really struggles. If you get a nut draw, you basically lock your opponent out, but if you don't, there's no game to be had. He runs a card, and it's the breaking news. Okay. So yes, I still wonder why Timmy made that move. He could have easily installed double advance the breaking news as normal. Was he trying to get an easy kill? With Plascrete out, it's not that easy. Plus, he only has found one Scorched Earth so far, so I find it a very questionable decision. Although I don't know Timmy's deck at all, so who am I to comment on that? So he gets rid of a couple of cards. Yeah, you really don't want to get rid of programs, but he has to. He's flooded with useless cards. Useless at this point in time, rather. Alright, so there is the Sansan on the board, and that's potentially important for going for the agenda victory. He has the build in hand, he can potentially score the build out right now, but he has to be concerned about Clot on Street Peddler, given his opponent's willingness to just trash the Clot using Aesops. There's a good chance that there's another Clot on the Street Peddler. That is something you have to be very conscious of. Now Timmy is agenda flooded, he has both a build and a Palooza in hand. What does he do right here? I think he just draws or gains money. At this point, there's nothing he can do with his hand at all. Yes, this is a very tough spot for Timmy to be in. Don't mind, I'll do a check on my stream. So yes, Timmy did install the Exploder Palooza before ending his turn in a new remote. That I'm still not sure about this. This looks very iffy. I think Timmy should be raising his R&D eyes by now. He really cannot afford to lose any more agendas, opponent being on 3 points. He does res Archangel, so that was what he was waiting for. Yeah, my stream is looking fine. Alright, so Archangel. I think that will fire, which means okay, so this is a pretty interesting situation. I'm not sure how many Noise has enough credits to beat the Trace, but it is a hefty Trace 6 if memory serves me right. So, oh, he might liberate something off the Street Peddler. It's a clone chip. Alright, he gets a clone chip, and I guess he fetches a Faust from here. Nope, a David. Right, alright, so he did trash a David earlier. Creative play, but this does remove the threat of Clot from the board with Street Peddler, the threat of instant tutoring of Clot. This is also quite dangerous for Timmy at the same token, because this means that Stefan can easily make 2 more runs on R&D at his own whim. So that's something to take into account, especially because there's a medium in the heat. So this is going to be a bit tricky for Timmy to deal with. He probably wants another ice on R&D, but for the most part, Archangel does secure R&D pretty well. Another important thing to note is that there are a lot of cards which Noise cannot afford to have bounced back. especially the plus creep. Archangel actually synergizes pretty well in that regard. If Timmy is able to bounce the plus creep back to Noise's hand and they cannot reinstall it due to the lack of clicks, the Scorched Earth is live. So that will be pretty big. Also, mid-seasons is going to be live pretty soon. That's another huge factor. So and yes, he only has one Scorched Earth. I think at this point he needs to continue drawing up and gaining more money at this point because yes, Noise is quickly catching up in terms of money. Yep, he goes clicking for credits, and I think that's the right move. Now he has mid-seasons turned on. He wants to fire it the next time an agenda is stolen, because otherwise mid-seasons could very well be dead, because the runner would then be on match point. Noise is on click 2, still hasn't found his wild side. Things are looking very grim for him. Alright, Parasite goes on Archangel. So this clearly telegraphs Noise's plan. He doesn't want to use David as the solution to Archangel. He wants Parasite to take it down, preferably with a data sucker. So that's something to take note of. Note that Timmy does have some agendas ready to go in the remotes. He has a TGTBT out somewhere. Ooh. Nice. Really punishing the reluctance of Stefan to face check his remotes. This is pretty huge for Timmy. Now, alright, at this point Timmy does lose the credit advantage, but Stefan goes broke himself by playing Grimoire followed by Cash. Alright, so this means that next turn Stefan will be able to equalize in credits by pawning off the Cash. What can Timmy do here? Now, here's the thing. Timmy actually has the win in his reach. He has a TGTBT and an Explodapalooza on the board. I think if I were him right now, I would score the TGTBT on the board, followed by scoring the Explodapalooza next turn to win the game. I think that's the way he goes right now. If he remembers he has the TGTBT and the Explodapalooza, that's 3 points he can score right now to win the game. But no, he goes for the slow game instead. What's that? Is that Lily Lockwell? Alright. When he reses Lily Lockwell, he gets to draw 3 cards here. I'm really not sure what this is about. I really think he should just be scoring out right now, because he can. And if the opponent runs the Explodapalooza, Timmy gains an advantage anyway, because the opponent will be in mid-season's range. Alright, so it seems like he's trying to hyper draw for his Scorched Earth, which he has finally found. Second copy. And that's the thing, with plus greed in play, I really believe that Timmy should just be going for the 7-point win, which he has at his fingertips. So now Timmy's hand is flooded, not in terms of agendas, but flooded with many cards that he will have to discard at the end of his turn. He's definitely going to keep the mid-seasons and double Scorch. And he's going to play the shell game, but he has no agendas to shell with. He's just playing out rather useless cards. Pet Campaign is not that useless. The others are pretty irrelevant in my opinion. He really should just be scoring out at this point. Another big thing to note is that the opponent is Noise after all. As NEH, you really cannot afford to drag on the game, even though you might have multiple Jacksons on the board. Dragging on the game, there's no point. There really isn't much point in it, in my opinion. And I guess he was looking for ice. I guess that's the best bet, because Hail Mary on R&D is still a very possible threat. So now the mass milling begins with Deja Vu into Imp and Cash. The Imp hits the board. I wonder what he's going to Imp. That's an imp with 3 virus counters. That's pretty big. He starts running what he thinks are agendas. Is that an agenda? That's probably a Jackson. If it is a Jackson, he has to use it. Oh no! It's another Lily Lockwell. Very interesting. So by raising the new Lily Lockwell, he has to trash the old one because it's unique, and that forces Timmy to draw 3 cards as well. And does he imp it? I don't think there's any point to imping it. But he does anyway. Interesting. And the cash gets milling. So now you notice that Noise is pretty well ahead on the curve. He has 6 credits, going to have 9 next turn, thanks to Aesop spawning cash, while Timmy only has 4. This really isn't to Timmy's benefit at all. He could be winning the very next turn had he advanced his TGTBT earlier. I definitely think it's a glaring mistake, as awesome of a player as Timmy is, being a fan of him playing Blue Sun at Worlds last year. Alright, now he has agendas. Does he score them? He can score the breaking news if he wants to, and he has a bunch of agendas in his hand. I'm not sure what he wants to do at this point, and I'm not sure how many agendas are there in his heap, courtesy of Virus Mill. So that will affect his decision as to what he pitches into archives at the end of this turn and what he actually does this turn. I think he will probably do a lot of money. Sweet Sweep into hedge fund. I see both of those cards in hand. That seems like the plan, the go-to plan. Oh no. He decides to start scoring. Alright, so I guess he did forget about the TGTBT on the board. There's really no reason not to score the TGTBT on the board if he could, but since he had breaking news, he did the same thing. So basically, Timmy's gonna win next turn with the Explodapalooza if Noise doesn't run it, or if Noise doesn't win outright, which I don't think Noise will win because there should be at least 1 if not 2 Jacksons on the board right now. Let me switch over to my YouTube. There's no one tuning in. Whoops. Alright, Timmy is discarding agendas right now. Alright, so basically the agenda point pressure is on. From Noise's point of view, you have to realize that the game is more or less over. The Corp has drawn a lot of cards. There is a very good chance that there is at least 1 Bill or Astro in hand, which he can fast advance. So I think if I was Stefan right here, what I would try to do is to either get Clot on the board or just run as much as I can. Run through R&D, using David to break the Archangel, getting rid of the Parasite somehow, because now the Archangel is under 5 strength, cannot be broken with David. At this point, it's all Hail Mary. He cannot do anything. I mean, he cannot wait. He cannot set up his board state. He can't dig for Wildside at this point. It's too late. He might have the money advantage, but the very fact that Timmy is on 5 points with an Astro token, that's a very huge threat that he has to address right now. It's time to rush. So, Parasite goes on pop-up, and I believe he makes an R&D run here. I mean HQ run here. That would be the best choice. Yes, he does make a HQ run. Very good play. And he sees another pop-up, which he will crit through. Too bad for him, he doesn't know that the win is on the board, not in his hand. Sweet, that does nothing. So yes, he chooses not to imp it. There's no point in imping a Sweet at this point because the win is live. He needs to run through R&D and HQ as much as he can. That is what I would do, and I would still lose because the Explodapalooza is somewhere on the board. It is very hopeless right now. 2 more clicks left. Can he make the right move? Can he find it in him to run the Palooza? Even if he does, the mid-seasons is waiting for him. It's a tough place to be. Very tough. He runs Archives? Interesting. Oh, alright, so he was counting the cards in Archives. So he does decide to make a run there, and he sees nothing except 3 Scorched Earths. So that should clue him in that Timmy is now doing the agenda scoring. Is going for agenda scores and is ditching the flatline plan. With +3 out, I think Timmy made the right choice there to ditch the Scorched Earths instead of holding them in hand. He accesses the news team, which fires off Archives. Does he take the 2 tags? I don't think he can. I think he can. Yeah. Mistake. He should take the 2 tags because all the flatlines in the bin. I think that is a pretty obvious choice. At this point, you cannot afford to lose an agenda point like that. So yeah, he loses all. He does something else with his last click, and oh, he runs HQ. He doesn't see any agendas. It doesn't matter. The wraparound goes in the bin, but it's game. I believe Timmy shows the Exploder Palooza here. So yes, Noise is just a bit too slow against this deck. Did he misplay this game? I think he should have imped the pet campaigns. He had quite a lot of imps to work with, but he never really got around to killing his econ, which was a big problem. And of course, the card draw sucked. It really mostly came down to card draw. Without Wildside seeing a single Wildside at all this game, it was just very painful. He had to work with the cards that he drew, the very few cards he drew. Couldn't get through R&D with Archangel there. I think the Parasite was a mistake. It's too slow. He didn't find Data Sucker. Is Timmy not scoring the agenda? Oh dear. No. No, Timmy, no! No! Timmy! Oh my gosh! Wow, these players are tired. It can't be. It's just post lunch break. It's their first round post lunch break. Why? Why, Timmy? Why? He had the game. Oh dear. Yeah. There's no explanation for that. There's definitely a Palooza on the board. He didn't score. I don't know. He even looked through all his face down remotes. I do not understand. Oh dear. Oh dear. This shouldn't be happening. But yes, do take note that these players have played 8 games of Netrunner before this. Can't blame them for being worn out. That being said, this can easily decide victory and defeat. And the clock is live. If he decides to install it, which he should at this point, knowing that there's an Astro token out there. But yes, Stefan is definitely back in the game because all the Scorched Earths are in the bin. That said, I still don't understand why he ditched the news took the news team. That is, I'm really not sure about that. I mean, Noise doesn't want tags because ESOPs is so important, but still, he really needs agendas at this point. Come on, Timmy, you can do it. Okay, yes, he's finally scores the Explorer Palooza through Sense City Grid. Yep, okay, that does it. So yes, that was still a pretty dominating performance by Timmy. Despite the fact that I think there were definitely agendas on the board that he could have scored earlier. Alright, second game coming up soon. Stay tuned for that. So for anyone who's watching the stream right now, I hope the quality is okay. If there's any problem with the stream, please do leave a note in the chat. I will be commentating on the next game between Timmy and Stefan, which should be starting soon. If you prefer to hear my commentary over that of the FFG commentators. So it's Wizard. Alright, so the game goes off. Timmy's playing Wizard against Stefan, who is playing HB ETF. Ice Ice Baby. Very good start for Stefan right there. Timmy's having cold. That should impact his gameplay a bit. Maybe that's why he's been so forgetful of the agendas last game. I see some career fairs. Interesting. Alright. Wizard seems to be pretty popular and for good reason. It's pretty good against horizontal decks, which there'll be a lot of near hub expected. So naturally, um, 3 recurring credits right off the bat to trash pack campaigns and sand grids is always sweet. Oh, look at that double gamble. Ooh man. If that was an I've had worse, was that a first click I've had worse? If it was, it's probably take a credit here. Nope. Alright, he's gonna play KD instead. That's fair enough. Taking a credit is too slow, too suboptimal, so he goes for KD instead. Which means that he won't be able to play the gamble until 2 turns later. I think he'll get 6 credits on KD before unloading KD. But this also means that he is really limiting his options for the next turn. Not much that he can do, which means that Stefan at this point can begin setting up a money remote or even a scoring remote if he so chooses. Looking at his hand, he has an ABT and a couple of upgrades and a team sponsorship. This should be interesting. Alright, so Stefan should feel relatively safe about leaving HQ with only 1 ice defending it, because since cloneship is revealed, the chances of him running Siphon is pretty low, given the influence costs. Alright, so Timmy loads up KD here. What else does he do? Take credits? He took 3 credits and loaded KD. That's interesting. I think he drew a bit as well, but if he wanted to click for credits, he should have played the gambles earlier. I'm not sure about what Timmy is doing right now. You would much rather spend your time drawing cards at this point rather than getting money, because one of the biggest problems of playing any Enoch that isn't named Max is that your card draw stinks. And this means that your consistency with finding breakers is terrible. Like, there's an ABT in that remote right now, I'm pretty sure, and you can't do anything about it. So there goes the iPad Worst. He sees a Parasite, an Inject, and a Peddler. Alright, that's a pretty good haul. That's a lot of cards that cycle into each other and allow him to see more of his deck. Hopefully he'll find the breakers that he needs. I think at this point he plays the Peddler. There's no reason not to play Peddler at this point. It's free to play and you get to see 3 cards off your deck, including a Liberator accounts, Turntable, and a David, I believe. So that's in... Ooh dear. Okay. David isn't the most useful, and there are no breakers under the Street Peddler, so things are not looking very good right now. He could play Inject to send some programs to the Heat to recover Clone Chip. Probably not ideal, you'd rather use your Clone Chip for Parasite. So yeah, teammates in a rough spot right now. I think he would unload KD and play Gamble at this point. Nope. He chooses to leave KT on 9. I guess that's pretty efficient. He's definitely setting up for the long haul right here, evidenced by the turn 1 KD. Instead of going for burst money, he goes for the long game. Let's see if he can actually get there. Right now, there's an ABT in the remote, along with a team sponsorship, which means that he's ready to fire the ABT. This could boost Stefan very far ahead in the game, especially now that he has Adonis running as well. So I think at this point, as Timmy, you would want to at least attempt to run the Adonis remote, force an Ice Rest, make the corp lose some money. Nope, he goes for the team sponsorship first, and I believe he should trash it. Unless he really wants to get the Adonis, which I think is a bit too late too. If he wants the Adonis, he should run it first. So, team sponsorship, it only costs him 1 credit to trash, why not? And he does it, which means that he won't be running the Adonis. I think at this point he just draws either with Inject or manual draw, play KT, get some money. This is a good time to take KT money off, so now this leaves Tim on 10 credits. And he runs the Adonis. Alright, he gets stopped by a wraparound. There is a David on the Street Peddler. He can choose to go through if he wants to. It's pretty interesting. I think he will. Or he might wait for the next turn where his wizard credits will refresh. Yes, I think that would be a smarter choice. And at this point, might as well play the Show Gamble. So I'm not so sure about holding the Show Gamble off for so long. For most of the time, he was playing with very few credits. I guess he didn't really need the credits, but on the same token, he should have been spending that time drawing up instead of gaining credits. And Stefan scores the ABT while he still can. Does he trigger it? Nope, no trigger. Fair enough. Yeah, Worlds is once in a lifetime opportunity. You're not gonna blow your chances at the top 16 card on an ABT fire. Alright, so I think at this point Timmy should go for the Adonis, unless he really wants a turntable. I don't think you keep turntable here, it's pretty awful against HB. Alright, Inject comes, Inject goes. There's a test run, look at that, it's a test run. That's so old school, wow. Alright, so you can definitely expect the career fair into daily cast soon. That's 1 click, he could daily fair and KD, that's 2 more clicks, and then he could run the wraparound server. I think that would be a decent move. I think that's what I would do. In fact, I don't think he needs that much money right now. He needs breakers more than he needs money at this point, especially with Stimhack in his hand. So yes, he does run the wraparound. Very wise choice. You should do, this is a good move. It costs you nothing, absolutely nothing to get in, and you're denying the corp 6 credits. Even though it's a half expended Adonis, it's definitely worth it. Even if it means losing your Street Peddler with Liberator accounts, which you don't need, and Turntable, which you don't need either. Well played. Now swapping over to Stefan. He has 15 credits, healthy credit level, could use more. He hasn't been seeing his thick ice, which definitely is a problem, or any form of remote scoring mechanism. I'm not exactly sure what sort of deck this is. Is it a Caprice Food Code deck? Is it a Fast Advanced Sansan deck? Still can't really tell. Haven't seen much influence, apart from the wraparound. Architect wraparound remote server. That's interesting. Another Architect something server. Very interesting. I think he shouldn't neglect R&D pressure, because once the remotes get too thick, Anarch can simply say, I'm going to medium dig you instead, and that can be pretty painful, even though he has a Cyberdex available. Alright, so now, Timmy really needs to get a breaker out. Let's see what he does here. The good news is that Timmy has a lot of credits and a KD and daily cast ticking away. So he checks archives for clone chip, and he versus an architect. So this is probably the worst face check that Timmy could take. I think yes, architect fires off here, and this is gonna speed up Stefan by a lot. This is gonna be huge for him. I think he has to install an ice at this point. He really wants to see ice, and it can be installed for free. I can't really see what the ice is there. That looks like Heimdall or an Eli. No, that's an Eli. Eli on R&D, voice choice. And there's a Christian grid waiting there, something to take note of. And I think a good thing to do right now is to recur either Adonis campaign or sponsorship from the heap. He chooses Adonis, which is a wise choice because Timmy will get to the base of the server and he will trash Eve. So yes, he does still need the money. Timmy definitely has to trash it. There's no question about that. He then runs HQ. Is that the case? Nope, doesn't look like it. At this point, probably test running a Mimic might be a good idea. He should remember to load up KT as well, which I believe he will do with his last click. The question is, what is this third click? He suspects there are agendas in hand. He seems like he's contemplating a run on HQ. There's a no-res, and he sees the single Cyberdex, which will get trashed. And he loads KT right here. Maybe plays a gamble, maybe draws a card. Nah, his hand is pretty good. I don't think he wants to draw right here. Yep, gamble into KT. That would be a pretty standard play. Although I still think he should be drawing more cards. He really needs to start seeing his breakers at this point, with all the servers doubly iced. Stefan forgot to res the Adonis. That's a mistake. Oh, takey backy. You're not rightfully by the rules, you're not allowed to res Adonis after taking a mandatory draw, but I guess both players agreed that it's fine. So that's pretty good sportsmanship. I wouldn't put the team sponsorship in the secure remote. I call it secure for now. There's no Mimic anywhere near inside. So on the same token, you can't leave team sponsorship naked because Wizard will just trash it. So it's a pretty tough dilemma. I suppose you want to see another piece of ice, generate a new remote, and have a single ice remote to store your team spawns. For a deck that is based on team spawn, and seeing that the Cyber decks, I assume this is some sort of fast advanced deck. Ooh, he lets Architect fire off again. That's really painful. This is why I think uh, Timmy really should be test running for a Mimic at this point. You can't really afford to have this happen. And it's not Sansan, it's Caprice. Ooh, this is painful. So this is a Caprice Adonis remote. This is going to get really rough for Timmy. Because now that Stefan has found his Caprice, not only can he defend his money, he can defend his agendas. That's most important. And at this point, he can definitely afford to place the Eve in the remote, the wraparound remote. Yes, this has accelerated Stefan's game by so much. Two architects can change the course of the entire game, and Timmy is definitely paying the price right now. I'm definitely going to give the game edge to Stefan at this point. He is very far ahead, even though he's only at 7 credits right now. Timmy hasn't found anything of worth, and the Caprice fires off. Now, if the Corp loses the Caprice game here, it's going to be quite painful, because assuming the Corp spends money on the Caprice side game, he cannot rest the Eve in the remote. That is why Stefan chose not to spend money on the side game. I think if Timmy had saw that, Timmy wouldn't have spent any credits. Ooh, no, Stefan has 6 credits. Interesting. I thought he was on 5. So basically, the reasoning is this: there's an Eve, unrest Eve in the other remote. As the runner, you should know that the Corp is reluctant to bid more than 0 credits, because if they do, they might not have enough credits to rest the Eve on the next turn, which will set them back very far. Timmy continues face checking ice and gets bumped out because he has no breakers. Same old story. Yeah, I'm really not a fan of all this brazen face checking. It's definitely posing our problems. I mean, what do you expect? Eli's life is not gonna be that good. I mean, Enigma is already pretty good. Imagine the Toll Booth instead. Granted, Stefan doesn't have the money to rest the Toll Booth at this point, but now I think he digs for agendas at this point and begins advancing agendas in the Caprice remote with Ash now on top of it. That's very, very brutal. So now HB is just gaining money, which is the right play to make. As long as HB is able to outmoney the runner, it's very easy to defend the Caprice Ash remote, which means that he can chain 5 more agenda points to victory. This is what makes HB very powerful. It's such a powerhouse between all the economy and the very strong remote defense. Right now, R&D really is Timmy's only hope, and he's going in and bumping into the Eli. Finally, an ice that doesn't punish him. Again, I'm still not a fan of all this face checking. He's wasting time. He should be drawing cards, playing test run, just get something done. He's not getting anything done at this point. Daily cast, he has a career fair in hand, but this is not what he wants. He needs breakers. I don't know what breakers he's running, but it seems like he's getting very bad luck with the draws. I assume he's running the standard Anarch Breaker suite, which makes sense because he wants to save the test run for his last breaker that he's missing, rather than to tutor his first breaker and be unable to attack any other ice. If he tutors a Corroder, he cannot break through Architect. If he tutors a Mimic, he can't get through Eli, etc. So yes, Timmy is the filthy rich, but he has no way of getting to remotes. Stefan can easily score out right now, and I think he's going to do so. After the Adonis takes away, he will definitely start scoring an agenda. NAPD is not the most ideal to score. I'm quite sure he wants to find a better agenda than that. We'll see if he top decks an ABT or Vitruvius or a food. Christian on HQ is probably a mistake. You can more or less figure that he's not running account siphon. I would have put Christian on R&D instead to guard against medium digs. In any case, it doesn't really matter against Wizard because they can easily trash Christian. It's not backbreaking. But I prefer Christian on R&D against Wizard because if they do medium digs, Firstly, it will slow down the medium decks, and more importantly, if they spend wizard credits to trash the Chrysium, it means they are not spending the wizard credits to trash. Ooh, lucky pool. Yeah, to trash assets and upgrades in R&D, which makes R&D more porous to medium decks. Very lucky pool by Timmy right there. Oh, and very well played there. Yes, I find it very questionable that Stefan isn't raising any eyes on HQ at all. He lost 2 agenda points, basically 4 agenda point swing because the NAPD would have been his otherwise. It's pretty secure in the Architect remote with Caprice and Ash. HQ is the weak link and he's paying the price. I think he attracted too much attention to HQ right there with the Chrysium. The Ash came 1 turn too late. The Ash he would really like to have seen the Ash on HQ. Or, yeah. So now he has no agendas to score. Right now he's digging for agendas. If I were him, I would draw 2 cards right now and chuck something in the remote. Yep, exactly that. Still no agendas. He really needed to protect the NAPD. If the NAPD were his, he would be very far ahead. And he protects R&D. HQ, sorry. Another mistake. Now that there are no agendas in HQ, there's no point defending HQ. That I should have gone R&D instead. Because R&D is now the weak link. Yes, he's punishing Timmy for running to HQ right now, but Timmy will simply ignore HQ from now on. Because there's nothing in HQ. If there was something in HQ, logically, he would just chuck in the remote. So, Timmy finds Street Peddler that immediately gets played. Makes sense. He finds Corroder, Atman, Imp. Wow! What a haul. Atman on Street Peddler with a Stim Hack. That is going to be game changing. That will change the game. Look forward to some big plays coming soon, especially since Timmy is loaded with money. He has only 13 credits right now, but his KT is loaded fat as hell. He might not even need the Stim Hack. This should be interesting. Let me switch to YouTube. Yep, there's no one watching. Okay, so things just got a lot better for Timmy. Thanks to the misplay by Stefan on HQ. I wouldn't say it's a big misplay, but or rather it's very good play by Timmy to realize that HQ is the correct target of choice. I think a lot of runners, myself included, would not have made the choice to hit HQ that hard, and it turned out to be the right choice, especially since he doesn't have Legwood or Sucker. Alright, he draws an Imp. Imp at this point doesn't do much. Turntable, again I don't think that does too much. I think you just keep drawing here. There is very little that Timmy needs to worry about right now. He just needs to find either more breakers or a medium to start digging R&D. That is what he's missing right now. But he chooses to install the Imp instead. Questionable move. I'm not sure what he wants an Imp for at this point in time. Continue loading KT, I guess. Last click. Load KT. Yes, load KT. So KT has 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12. I believe that's 12 credits. KD has 12 credits, he has 11 in his pool with 2 more on daily cast, so that's well over 20 credits. If I was Stefan at this point, I would ice up my scoring remote. Not bloody HQ. Gosh, what is he doing? Seriously. What is he worried about at this point? He's seen test run. He's seen 2 clone chips. There are no siphons in the deck. What is he worried about? 1 turn destruction? Lamprey? They are all irrelevant at this point. Data Sucker? There are none. I do not get this play. I do not get it at all. And Armand 4 comes out. That is without the Stim Hack. Timmy's not using the Stim Hack here. He's going to save it for Hail Mary runs, I suppose. So, Armand 4 blows through Eli. Blows through Ichis as well. Pretty convenient. Atman is a pretty MVP splash right there. Does so much work against HB. Compensates for Anarch's otherwise lackluster matchup against HB because all the ice is such high strength. Turing goes in the bin. Very surgical play there. That Imp is paying off. I take my words back. Turing is a pain in the butt to deal with when it's on a remote. Especially since Timmy is running low on Davids and I don't think he's running Scavenge. So Yes, very very good play by Timmy so far. The HQ pressure is really paying off. I really, I still really don't think that placing ice on HQ was the right move. He could have easily played the Turing on the scoring remote instead. Alright, he makes a run on the remote, sees Breaker Bay Eve. Does he trash anything? It's going to be pretty expensive to trash, and at that point Timmy will start going down in credits. He's already unloaded KD. Um, does he trash it? No, he only trashes the Eve. Very interesting. Only the Eve. I guess that's the right move because there are a lot of assets in the archives already. Fair enough. He can always go in to trash a Breaker Bay grid later. And he sees another Turing. So Timmy is basically treading water right now. I still believe he has a pretty decent late game between Artman 4 and all the Anarch abilities. I mean, all the Anarch Breaker Suite. It should be pretty good. And oh man, this is awful. The Adonis goes in the Breaker Bay remote. And the ABT goes into the Caprice remote. So this is what you do when you are HB and you're at Caprice Ash server. You just throw things in your remote. You are forcing the runner to play at your tempo, and this is pretty ugly. What does Timmy do right here? I think it's not a good play to challenge the Caprice remote. It's a bit too hard to get there right now. But he does test run for what I believe will be a Mimic. Yep, that is the play, and he runs the Caprice remote. Okay, sparks fly. The Architect is broken. So he was saving the test run for a surprise defense against agenda scoring in remotes and runs into a Turing, which he can break with David, but that means he's out of David tokens. So he needs to win this side game or else. This is going to be a very big side game that pretty much decides the match. Because this is going to be a 4-point agenda swing one way or another. Oh! Wow. 0 to 1. Timmy bid 0, Stefan bid 1. Ooh, that's huge. That is really huge. Alright, since the corp is poor, Timmy gets free accesses on HQ, and I think he should run R&D at this point as well. No, he runs HQ. And trashes the Ash for free with Wizard's credits. I still think he should have gone for R&D instead, but in any case, now Stefan's pretty rich and can score out the agenda in the Caprice remote. Wow, that's a lot of money. Yes, he got 5 credits. Yeah, 3 plus 5. So now Stefan's on 8, and he will score an ABT here, bringing him down to 5. So this is the best thing about Breaker Bay Grid, and a problem for Timmy Wong, who did not trash the BBG earlier. So now he has more money ticking off, and more importantly, Stefan is not broke, which means that he cannot run through Turing and trash Caprice. That's not a good play for him. Things are looking very bad for Timmy Wong all of a sudden. And he's playing Inject. I think he needs to find a York at this point and the Data Sucker. Although something tells me he's not running Data Sucker. I haven't seen a single Data Sucker yet. So York is in the bin, pretty important. For what? I have no idea. He needs Data Suckers for that York to work against Turing. But at least he can threaten all breakers now. And he has drawn into his Mimic. And it's in his hand. So he can install it whenever he wants, but now he's poor. Those 20 credits ran out very quickly. He has a 3rd Career Fair in his hand, which I believe he should be using to play his Earthrise. Or the Liberated. Probably the Lib. No, he trashes the Lib. Not sure about that. He needs money at this point. Yeah, I don't know. I find the play on the runner side a bit iffy. I mean, don't get me wrong, Timmy has made some very good plays so far, and he made a lot of right moves as well. But things are looking quite grim at this point. The servers are getting very heavily iced and there are no suckers in sight. He's down to 5 credits. At this point, the question is, where are the agendas? Is it in the remote? Or should I just go for R&D? As a player, I'm always drawn to R&D. Timmy seems very reluctant to run R&D for some reason. I can't put my finger on it. It's hilarious that the one card in Stefan's hand is actually an NAPD, because that's the last place where you expect an agenda to be at this point, given how secure the scoring remote is. Until he finds a good solution for Turing, Timmy is not getting to that remote anytime soon. HB at this point is way too rich. He can easily keep Timmy out with the Caprice Ash combo. Even if Timmy wins a Caprice side game, the Ash will keep him out, and that's a huge problem. He does get the David back. What is he doing? He's running the Caprice remote. Oh, I do not like this play. I mean, I guess he has to do it. I guess he has to. But yes, he has to do it to force him to rest the Ash, at which point he'll just trash the Ash with wizard credits. I think that's fine, but it's really a suboptimal play. If he lost the Capri side game right there, I don't know what Timmy would do, honestly. He's so broke, and the scoring remote stands. So now, a lot less defense on that remote server. Stefan is potentially one side game away from losing an agenda. So this is why he needs more ice on the Caprice remote. He also has a Heimdall in hand, if I'm not wrong. That is pretty interesting. So Stefan is raking up credits at this point, and Timmy is third poor. He gets an Earthrise going, and clicks for credits, I believe. Yeah, fair play. He needs to be able to threaten runs on servers. That being said, he does have a Stim Hack in hand, so he can threaten the remote anytime he likes. But he still is at the mercy of the side game. I'm not so sure about the Adonis res on the Caprice remote. I think he does want to score an NAPD at this point, unless he's waiting for the food. Possible as well. In that case, he should be drawing, I suppose. Nope, he goes for ice on R&D instead. I think at this point he just draws. I'm not sure what else he's thinking of doing right here. Clicking for credits? He's pretty rich as it is compared to the runner, that he doesn't need any more credits. What he needs now is to begin scoring out agendas before the runner gets rich again. This is a very big scoring window for him. Because Timmy essentially can only run once on the Turing server. Because he still hasn't, because he only has one Stim Hack. And he's, oh my gosh, that agenda flood. Uh-oh. Well. Does Timmy make the right play here? Does he run R&D? HQ. The agendas are in HQ. Can he find it in himself to run HQ? Nope, I don't think so. He needs to build up. And definitely, as Stefan is unloading the credits of Adonis right now, he will definitely install double advance the global food into the Capri server. I don't see any other way around it. Yep, it's going in there. He is going for the win. And I think that's game because no, it's not game. There are 2 David tokens. Timmy just needs to make 2 successful runs on the remote. It's not gonna be easy though, because I'm pretty sure the outermost ice is gonna be a piece of hell for Timmy to deal with. I think yes, he needs to unload KD at this point and go for a double run on the remote. He has to go for a double run at this point. If he gets the agenda, he can tie up the game. And I believe time has been called, so if he does get the agenda, it's a 1-1 split. he has to run right now. I guess he's at this point he's thinking, do I need to install something before I run? What is the outermost piece of ice? What can I do to get into the server? That is probably what's going through his mind right now. And yes, time has been called indeed, so each player gets one more turn, I suppose. So it's now or never. Ooh, it's the toe move. Okay, so yes, he can still get through, and he has to try for it. So he pays the toe and pays for the architect. Ooh, that's awful. So basically, he only has one shot at this. Oh, he still has 5 credits. No, he has 2 shots at this if he has 2 clicks left. He can install a new David and stim hack through for one more shot. Let's see. Can Timmy read Stefan's mind? It's all down to the Caprice side game. Will it happen? Is it the master of Nisei division? No! 1-0. That's a no. So now he installs a new David and plays stim hack. If he has 2 clicks left, which I believe he does. No, he only has 1 click left apparently. I'm not sure about this. Yeah, if he had 2 clicks left, he definitely should have stim hack into the remote instead, because there's a guaranteed agenda there. And it would prevent the win, more important. Ooh, he finds the NAPD. But what does that do? It ties up the game, but the corp still gets one more turn. He definitely should have gone for the remote instead. I'm not sure about this. He does still have one more click, doesn't he? He should have installed David and stim hack into the remote. I'm not sure what he was thinking there. That was definitely a brain fart of sorts. There was definitely no reason not to play the David and stim hack into the remote. Stefan has the game locked if it gets to his turn. Yeah, that's it. There's nothing he can do. It's deadlock. I'm very surprised at the move he made there. There was definitely a stim hack run. And no, he will not win, because even if he finds an agenda here, it's only going to be 6 points for him. And he scores the food for the game. So very well played by Stefan. Very patient, but it paid off. Some moments where I thought he could have pushed the agendas out faster. It wouldn't have made for such a close game where he could nearly have suffered a time win instead of a normal win, which would really have hurt his prestige. But in any case, both players end up splitting. Pretty good games, and stay tuned for the next round.